Hello there. Welcome to Lesson 4, The Art of Living. And we're going to be talking about bullet journaling, planning, goal setting, all those things that help us to achieve the things that we were created to achieve and created to do and be. Through the years, I've had lots of organizational systems. I've read all the organizational books. I've tried a million things. Some things worked better than others, but when I came upon bullet journaling a couple of years ago, I fell in love with it. And one of the reasons that I fell in love with it is that it's uniquely you, or me in this case. It can be whatever you want it to be. It can contain as much as you want it to. So I'm going to be talking about just the bones around bullet journaling. And then you can create it to be your personalized system, whatever works for you. So the reason that we had you get 2 of these inexpensive little binders, one was for your morning pages, which if you haven't started that, I wish you would go back and review that lesson and get started on that. I cannot even tell you how much that benefits me to sit down and start my morning like that. And I know some of you have less time in the mornings than others. So whatever works for you, personalize that, but do and try to incorporate those morning pages into the start of your day. The second notebook we had you purchase was for your bullet journaling. And I have this really cute one. And typically, my bullet journal consists of the year. However, for the sake of this course, and just because I've listened to and read so many different bullet journaling tutorials and different people's ideas about how they bullet journal, which if you're new to bullet journaling, let me encourage you, don't do that. Kind of get a feel for it first. I'm going to give you the basics of how to kind of set yours up. And I would just encourage you to mess around with it first before you go into the big wide world of bullet journaling, unless you just can't stand yourself and then you just want to do it. And you have lots and lots of time to go down that rabbit hole. Then go for it. I'll just warn you, you might end up with lots of pens, lots of doodle things, lots of stickers. So it's never ending and fun, and like I say, it has worked for me. It's been truly, I can say, life-changing. So let's get started. You will need your, like I said, your binder. It can be, one of these. I just happened to pick up this really cute one when the back-to-school supplies were out. And the way that we're going to set this up for the sake of this course is just for 3 months, which is so much fun because it's October, November, December, which is our Christmas holiday season. So as we set this up, you'll see that this is going to be your guide to get you through the holidays. So fun. So get your journal out, or you can do it later, but you may want to go back and the very first thing you want to do, I usually leave the first page blank. You may want to go back and kind of like in Simple Abundance, which I don't know if y'all are following along with that too. I hope you are. I was going to tell you that at the end of every month, she kind of does like a recap of the month or the goals of the month. So I actually, like October 1st was today, so I went to the back of Simple Abundance in October and I read all the things. I can't remember what she calls them, and I don't have my book sitting with me, but just things to enjoy in October, things to look for, things. So I like to actually read that first at the beginning of the month, even though she has it laid out where it's at the end of the month. If I would go back and read that first. So if you have that book and you're following along with that, then go and read that. It's just kind of a, I think it's, what's the word I'm trying to find? Good grief. Encouraging to, and motivating to enjoy the seasons and to enjoy those things. So, but why did I talk about that? I don't remember. But anyway, October, November, December. That's what we're going to focus on in our journals. Oh, that's what I said. So you have this page blank in the beginning. So you might want to just have an October quote there, a fall quote, or a holiday quote, or thankfulness quotes or something. But anyway, I'll leave that first page blank in the beginning of my journal. So the next thing that you're going to want to do is the next 2 pages are marked index or table of contents, whichever makes more sense to you. Like I say, it's your personalized journal. You can do whatever you want. You can call it something else. But these are where it'll make sense in a minute. But this is where you'll refer back to so you know where things are in your journal. The next thing you can do is go through and number every page in your journal at the bottom. Some people like to do this as they go, and I have not in this new journal that I'm doing for the sake of this course. I have not numbered every page, but I will go back and number those pages. And then on page 1 and 2, I didn't start numbering until after my index pages. I'm going to put future log at the top of both of these pages, and you see I'm doing this as imperfectly as I can. Or not that I'm perfect by any means, or that my regular journal is perfect, but because a lot of times we don't start things because we think, I'm not sure I know exactly how to do it, or I'm not sure I'll do it right, or I wish I could go back. I mean, there is no way to goof this up. It is a tool. So I just drew lines through the middle of the page, and I did October, November, December, and this is a future log. So when things come up that you maybe not have your monthly, and again, it'll make sense in a minute, but like if you know you have some things in December, jot the date down as they come up and just put them in the December box. Then when you get ready to do your monthly calendars, you'll go and add those to it. So your future log. Again, this is a kind of a skeleton of the way we're going to do the bullet journal for October, November, December. You can do whatever you want. And after you learn the basics of bullet journaling, you may just go crazy with it, and you may have something in place that works for you and you love it and you've used it for years and you don't ever want to consider bullet journaling. That's okay too. Okay, this is one of my favorite things about the bullet journal. Your fall winter goals is what I called this. And I broke it down into personal goals, family goals, health goals, home goals, finance goals, and work goals. So there's 6. Yours may look different. You may have different areas that you'd like to do goal setting. So it may look different than that. I want to tell you something that when I began to adopt this goal setting method, one of the things that Ricky and I had been talking about for a really long time was we, now with 9 grandchildren and more on the way, actually we have number 10 on the way in November 2nd. So we realized that when we all got together, we rarely got to visit with our adult children. It was just, it was all about getting the kids fed and keeping them from, whatever. So Ricky and I had said, boy, it'd be so nice to have an adult dinner with just our adult children. And we knew it would take some planning on our kids' part to secure childcare and to plan for that. So that was one of my family goals, to have our adult children for dinner. And because I had written it down, I began to plan for that. And we did accomplish our first adult dinner, and it was so lovely. And we all got to finish a sentence, and we got to talk and visit, and it was just very, very good for all of us. And Ricky and I, enjoyed it so, so much. We felt a little guilty that we had an event here that the grandchildren weren't a part of, but we got over that and enjoyed our kids. So these family goals are really important, and well, all your goals. My health goals, there's some things that I'm working on, so I was really excited to write those down and to begin to work on those. My home goals, seems to me that declutter is always at the top of my list in certain rooms and certain areas, always manages to be a part of my home goals. I tend to collect a lot of things. So anyway, you get the idea. So then this is page 3 and 4, if you choose for it to be. You go back into your index and you write fall, winter goals, or whatever you call it, and you put the page numbers. Now, if you have more goals than that, or they take more page numbers, great. You just turn to the next page and continue your goals, and then put that page number, just a comma, and the page number. It doesn't have to be in order, because you can go back and look, oh, where are the rest of those winter goals? Okay, page 5. So you get it? Okay. The next thing that I like to do is, like, this is October, the month of October. Now, I just went straight down the page. I numbered the days of the month with the initial of the day beside it, so I can quickly jot down anything going on in that month. Birthdays, if I already know we are going out of town, if I, whatever's coming up immediately or in that month of October. Now remember, you had back here your future log. So anything that you have written in your future log, when you come to your October, you jot it down there. And this is your whole month. You go back into your index. This may sound terribly confusing, but when you start to do it, it's really not. And it just will make so much sense. Go back into your index and put October and put your page number. Okay? The next page, and this is where, different people do different things. Some people like to just write down Monday, the day, and jot down what they have to do that day. I like to have a weekly calendar. Maybe it's a throwback to the days I used, like a day planner or something. But I kind of like to look at the week, and I like to write in the things that are going on there. Now, if you were to use it, not do this, I think it would become more of a journal. And I like that. I like that idea. A lot of people jot down, like, things that happened on that day, things they want to remember. So, that's another idea. Again, I'm going to link a couple of other bullet journal teachings. For one thing, I'm going to link the guy that actually supposedly started the whole bullet journaling movement. And I'll link that, and you can go watch. It's very brief and very to the point. And he even uses, and I think it goes back to that, our whole Enneagram and who we are and who God made us to be, about what you're going to prefer, as far as there's all these little circles for this and squares for this and checks for this, and that will help you to know if it's a personal item or a future item, or that overwhelmed me, and I don't do that. But you might love that. So I want to, put that out there, and it may be something that you want to go back and take a look at. So this would be this next week for me, and obviously I don't have it all filled in yet, because this is the typical journal that I use. But for the sake of this class, I'm doing, and this is my little yearly But for the sake of the class, I'm going to try this. I'm going to do a 3-month with you guys and do it together. Okay, now that you've got, that's kind of the bones of it. So let's say I start to Christmas shop. I'm going to go back here or to the very next page, and I'm going to write Christmas list. I've got a page number down there, or I'll number it, the next page, number 9, Christmas list. I'm going to go back to my index. I'm going to jot down Christmas list. And then I'll write all my people's names down. And actually, I even do a different one because this is my book and I can do whatever I want. That's stocking stuffers and ideas that I have for, because we do stockings for all our people. So I'll go do that, add another page. You know, I've got an event coming up October 24th at my home, and you guys are all invited. So I'll start a page, Art of Living, whatever I call that, open house or whatever. And I might start a page with ideas for snacks. I might jot down who will, at some point, will ask you guys, you know, to RSVP, and I'll keep count of that on that page or pages. And I'll just start, as I think of things that I want to include in that evening, I'll jot them down on that page and I'll have them all in the same book. And I can look in my index and go, where's the Art of Living? Oh, page 15. I go to that page, there it is. And I can add to it, but I will always have it with me. Now, I don't do my meal planning in my bullet journal. Sometimes on my weekly plan, I will jot down what we're having. But as far as grocery list, I just implemented a new system just for things that we run out of. I put a little whiteboard magnet on the fridge, and I have Costco and Kroger because those are typically, or Sprouts. And as I run out of things, I'll jot those down, and then before I leave the house, just take a picture of it. And then I've got it with me all the time, and it's easy to keep up with things that I run out of that I regularly get at those stores. So I don't keep that in this book, excuse me, because that just didn't work best for me. Sermon notes. You just go to the next page, jot down the date or whatever, however you'd like to keep up with it, where you were, who was teaching, go to your index, and jot down the page number. So basically, you're just going to the next page. You know, years ago, we were working with a travel agent, which how long ago does that tell you? Are there even still travel agents? I don't know, but anyway. But she just had this notebook, basically this, but she didn't call it a bullet journal, and she just would jot down. She just had everything written down, like one after the other, and then she'd flip the next page, and I thought, that's basically brilliant. And the thing I would have added to her system was the index, because then you've got, you know, your page number of where everything is. And like I say, you can make this as intricate as you want it or as simple as you want it. If you're an artist, you may doodle all over yours and it becomes a piece of art. I love that. I'm not, and I don't. Now I do have fun with stickers, and I'll go buy a little packet of stickers and I'll stick those all in my bullet journal somewhere where I want to, you know, embellish, like a birthday or something like that. And I love that. I love to have some fun with that if I have time. So it can be, like I say, whatever you want it to be and do. Like I say, I don't put my meal planning in my bullet journal, but I will have books to read. Like if I run across a book to read, typically I'll take a picture of it initially because I typically see them on social media, and I'll think, oh yeah, I want to remember that. Or I'll stick it in my Amazon cart, and then I'll go back and add it to my books to read page. And then as I've read them, if I really loved them, I may jot a little thing about what I thought about it on another page. So I think you're getting the idea that this can be whatever you want it to be. again, there are tutorials endless. And if you grab hold of this and you're like, oh my goodness, I love this idea, then go for it. But if you want to just try it out, then I've given you the basic bones to do that. Anyway, I'd love if you do it. I'd love your responses on our Facebook page. Go there and let's talk about it. If there's a tutorial that you loved and you've copied their methods, then I'd love to hear that. If there are tools that you use or a way that you set yours up that you think has been just like real helpful. So anyway, I'm going to talk just a minute about meal planning because that is something that's dear to my heart, and I think that we can't discount the richness and the possibilities of coming together around the table at mealtime, and that takes planning. I grew up in a home that mealtime, even though there was a lot of chaos and a lot of things going on, we were at the table at mealtime. I think it's become a lost art, which saddens me, and I get it. I mean, people are busy, they're going a lot of different directions. But, that may be one of your family goals, to try to have like 1 or 2 uninterrupted meal times, or I would hope more than that, that everybody's home, everybody's around the table, and you sit together and enjoy that. So personally, I think that, and there are a lot of statistics that show that families that do enjoy family meal times together have closer relationships, and the kids are healthier and not healthier in health-wise, but mentally healthy and feel more secure. And so I say that not to put pressure on any of you busy moms, but just that I've seen the fruit of that and still do. Even though when we get together there are 16 of us, and it's becoming more and more tempting to just feed the kids and then clear them out and the adults sit down and enjoy dinner. I try to have a meal where we all sit down, and we purchased a table that will allow all 16 of us to all be around the table. And there are some things that I've incorporated that work for us. I ask everybody to sit adult, child, adult, child, adult, child. And while this doesn't always go over so big with the children or the adults, because obviously they'd rather sit, together, I find that it is more conducive to everybody enjoying the conversation and us all getting to enjoy everybody. The children aren't off on their own here, talking, and the adults aren't together talking about the latest movie, but we all enjoy the conversation. And like I say, I don't do that every time we get together, but I do try to do it as often as I can get away with it. And I have place cards for everybody, so they know where their spot is. And there's some argument about that sometimes, and sometimes we will trade around until everybody gets to their happy place. And then another thing that I've done that has worked well to kind of keep the dinner conversation focused and keep everybody kind of not getting into their own conversations is I'll have a question. Like, for instance, if you could wake up anywhere in the world tomorrow morning, where would you want to wake up? And everybody will go around the table and answer that question. And the children love it. They sit there waiting. They just wait their turn to tell. And it's so precious because a lot of times it may be that they want to wake up at some of the adults will say, oh, on some beach, and the kids a lot of times will, they've said, I would want to wake up at my aunt, and they'll mention one of the aunts or uncles that wake up at their house. I mean, it's really sweet and precious, and it's we get to know each other a lot better, and we enjoy each other, and and we'll ask some questions where we have to say, and you can't say Jesus. You can't say Jesus because obviously they know that's the right answer always. But Anyway, so that's just some ideas of how you might implement, especially gathering if you have a large group that you're gathering. And I would do that even with not family. I think that's a good idea too. Maybe not sit adult child always, but I think it's important how you place people around the table, and then to have topics sometimes, especially if you're bringing together a group that they don't know each other well. Or so anyway, that might go under your family goals, or I think just that's been real helpful, the goal setting, back to that. And then I'm going to go back to menu planning. You know, it's changed a lot as now we're empty nesters and it's just Ricky and I, but the menu planning is still very important. And I used to tell Ricky back in the day that if I ever seem frazzled or out of sync, or ask me if I have a menu plan. And because that was, to me, kind of if I knew what we were having for dinner that night, I was like so much more free to enjoy the things that I needed to give my attention to, rather than frantically in the late afternoon trying to figure out what we were going to have, and we didn't have the finances to rush out to eat or to get something to eat. So it became such a stressor if I did not have a plan. But if I had a plan, and if I had even begun to prepare some of it during the day, wow, it made a world of difference. I mean, a world of difference. So if that's not something that you have regularly incorporated into your lifestyle and into your family's lifestyle, I would encourage you to give that a try. And the bullet journal might very well be a great place to just like dinner ideas. Just make a page of dinner ideas and jot down things that your family regularly enjoy. And then when you do sit down to menu plan, which is a good idea to have a set time, one day a week, that you sit down and plan your week. And this will be such a valuable tool for that. As you look at what you have going on that week, you know, right now we have a couple of grandsons with football games and a daughter cheerleading, and sometimes we'll have soccer, and you know, so if I sit down with those games, or whatever our schedule may be for that week, it just helps. Then I go, okay, great. I need something that's, you know, I can put in the crock pot, or I need something that we can warm up later. But having those meal times planned is such a huge stress taker offer of you. Yeah, really. So I would encourage you in that. Something that I've done over the years that has been real helpful, because we're empty nesters now, I don't incorporate it as often, but when I do, I'm always thrilled I did, is to make a soup every week and a salad. And, you know, there's a zillion soup recipes that you love, and just to have that to warm up, like if your day doesn't go like you thought it did, and your dinner, even though you might have planned a meal, it just isn't going to happen. That soup is available. And like when I say a salad, like a chicken salad, pasta salad, tuna salad, something like that, that is already made, that you can, and you've got soup and salad. Say somebody calls and says, hey, you want to meet for lunch? And I don't know, maybe it's the season I'm in, but it's becoming more and more common for me to say, you know, would you rather just come here? And it's just so quiet, and we control the music, and we control the atmosphere, and I've got soup and salad. It's all made. All I have to do is, you know, put a couple of plates out. And like I say, I know I'm in a different season, and I know that, you know, that may sound like, oh my gosh, you know, we'd have to pick toys up, but you don't. You don't. You can say yes without all that, without everything being ready and perfect. And I hope you do. So anyway, I think that's, I'm anxious to hear your thoughts on this. I'm anxious if you dig in with it, and if you love it, or if you're going, oh my gosh, that sounded so confusing. I would never try that. And if it was confusing, maybe to go and watch some of these that I'm going to link to. Debbie's the linker, so I'm not sure exactly how that'll be done, but it'll show up after the video probably in the links. I'll link a couple of videos of a couple of people teaching that I think you would enjoy and gain from, to get to watch them. So Anyway, I hope you're having a blessed week. I'm loving doing this with you. And like we've said before, anytime you teach something, you just dig in deeper. So I've listened to so many on bullet journaling, and I've even changed the way I do a few things. But like I say, it has been life-changing for me, and I hope in these next months you'll give it a try. I got really excited as I planned for the month of December with my bullet journal. There were some things that last Christmas we had said, oh, I wish we'd done that, because it just comes and goes like that, the holidays. So Thanksgiving and Christmas, as you plan ahead and you look at your goals, to incorporate those things, because really for me it's about planning ahead and thinking ahead, because for every yes, something else is a no. I mean, we can't do everything. So if we know those things that are important to us and those things that we want to do, then we're able to work those in and be proactive with the way that we're going to spend our time and the way our family's going to spend our time. So I hope that you're already thinking ahead to Thanksgiving, to Christmas, and because like I say, sometimes it comes and goes and it's a blur and you're like, what did we even do? But to really being purposeful with your time, and like if there's something that you didn't do last year that later you thought, wow, I wish we'd done that. I actually make a point to jot down things that I think of during the holiday season that I thought, wow, that'd be such a good idea. We need to do that next year. And I'll go back and look at that, and I can find it because it's in the bullet journal. And so, like next Christmas ideas, page 48 or whatever. It's amazing how when all of your information ends up in one place, how valuable that is. So, like I say, I can't wait to hear your ideas, and I hope you'll give it a try. People I've shared it with have said it's been life-changing for them, and it's such a simple system and so doable. So hope you'll give it a try. Hope you're having a blessed week. I can't wait to join you on Thursday for our Facebook Live. And if you have questions, put them on Facebook. I'll be paying attention and I'll answer if I can, or ideas. I'd love to see them. So blessings. See you soon.